This
All right,
conference will now be recorded.
great. So, welcome to the October Problem Gambling Prevention Provider Connect call. Today we have presentation with our helpline that will be covering some interesting material, and then also moving forward into some problem gambling updates and sharing. So we are recording this webinar. So if you have not already muted yourself, please do so that we can have a clean recording. You can use the chat box to let us know questions, or unmute yourself and definitely ask a question, because we try to be as informal as possible, but we do like to have a as clean as possible recording. So our agenda for today is we'll quickly do some roll call just to find out who's with us on the phone today, as well as sharing who's with us, who signed in through the webinar. We'll have Maggie from Emergence, who is our helpline contractor, do a presentation for us on what's it like when you connect with OPGR, what happens, so that when our providers are out there giving presentations and someone asks, what does the helpline look and feel like, you'll have a better understanding of that. We'll do some PGS updates and some provider updates, and then we'll end for the day. And I want to thank everybody for accommodating the change in the schedule for the international earthquake drill. I know I was underneath my desk at 10:18, and I assume many of you were as well. So with us today on the call, we have Claire from Multnomah County. We also have Claire from Columbia County. Deanna is joining us from Tillamook. Emily has joined us from Jackson County. Francie is joining us from Lake County. We have Heather also joining us today from Columbia County. Jess from over in Lincoln County. Judy, welcome, from Malheur. Kelly from Benton, and Kimberly from over in Jefferson County. Kimberly joining us, another Kimberly. We got the Kimberly back to back there, joining us from Cascadia up in Clackamas County. Michael and Susan have joined us from Marion County. Paige from Deschutes County, and then we also have a guest with us today from Montana State University, is joining us for the helpline portion of this call. So welcome, Anne Marie. Is there anybody else who's on just on the call that I didn't capture? You can go ahead and unmute yourself and let me know you're there. Okay, well, we do have Paige with us from Douglas, and so other folks are probably just not wanting to admit they're there. So we'll go with who we have today. And so that is our roll call. And so we're moving into our OPGR helpline presentation. So welcome, Maggie. And so take it away.
Okay, hi. I'm Maggie, and I am one of 6 counselors that are available on our Oregon Problem Gambling Helpline. We are bilingual folks that are on this end, so what folks can expect when they do reach out to us, when someone does call the helpline, they've called us because they're at their wits' end. And a lot of the times, the folks that call our helpline, they have seen our number, they know we're available, they've seen our ads, and, it just doesn't seem like they have a problem. They don't think they have a problem, so a lot of times they call us asking me if I think they have a problem, or, telling me what it is that's going on in their lives. When they call, they'll reach one of us bilingual counselors, and we're here to listen and offer hope and support. I typically start the call off by introducing myself and simply asking, what's going on? What's happening? What happened? What led you here? And that typically will give the caller permission to open up and just let me know what's going on. I'm sitting on my end and I'm listening to their stories of hopelessness and what it is that they're going through and what led them to call. And that is where I try to offer hope and let them know that they've made the right choice by calling us. I validate that they've made the right choice, and I just listen. A lot of my job is to sit here and listen. Now, sometimes if I just sit here and listen, the call tends to go on and on and on. So I pretty much have to kind of, get them back in and just try to listen and gather the information that I need. Sitting on my end, it's also important for me to collect the data that the folks over at Herbert and Lewis require. So in listening to their stories, I'm on my end gathering the information. Where are they calling me from? Who is the person that's calling me? What county are they seeking services? Who encouraged them to make the call? Where did they find the phone number to call me? So it's a lot of information that I must gather, but I can't really just ask for this information straightforward. I have to build some sort of rapport, a relationship in the first minute of the phone call. So I have to make it a safe environment for them to share what it is that they're going through. And as they're expressing that, like I said, I'm on my end gathering the information and the data that I need. Are they in a relationship? Are they married? Do they work full time? Are they able to make it to the agency? Just those type of demographics is the information that I'm capturing on my end. And at the same time, I'm trying to think fast. Okay, where is this person calling from and what resources can I offer them? Because, of course, every call is unique. We have folks that call because they themselves are the gamblers. We have a lot of family members that call. And a lot of times, folks don't even know that gambling treatment is available. So I have to also let them know what is available on our end. So what I do, like I said, is when in listening to the folks and their situations, I must assess, where are they at mentally and emotionally? Are they stable? Are they suicidal? Do they need immediate respite care today? Are they homeless? Are they at risk? I need to assess all of that in a very short period of time. So I just have to have, all my ducks here in a row and figure out, okay, what am I doing with this person? My ultimate goal is to connect them with the agency that's in their county that I can put them through so that they can in turn talk to a receptionist and get an appointment on that end. So my job is to connect them with the folks that are going to be available to them when the call is made, and I place them with someone else in a different county. That's one of the options that is available here at our helpline. Another option that is available, we have a program, GEAR, which stands for Gambling Evaluation and Reduction, that is available to those folks that cannot make it to the agency for whatever reason. A lot of times, folks, once they've made the call, there is no money for transportation. They might be calling from a county where services just are not available. Their time schedules just don't work, maybe daycare. These folks maybe are working several jobs. So for those, the elderly also. We also get a lot of truck drivers that drive through Oregon that participate in our GEAR program. And the way the GEAR program works is that we mail out the assessment to these folks that aren't able to make it to the agency. We mail the packet out, which would be the assessment. They fill that out and return it back to us in the mail. And as soon as it arrives here in our office, this call center is in Eugene. Our therapist, Diane Madrigal, contacts them to set up times for the folks to get together over the telephone for an hour a week. That program is available to family members as well if they'd like to participate. Services, of course, are available to anyone interested, whether the gambler is enrolled in any of the programs or not. I also keep in mind that we have our respite program available out at Options in Josephine County. If someone feels that they are in crisis and they need some respite care, I do inform them that Josephine County is the place that they are more than welcome to participate. I always do connect them with the folks that are in their local area so that those folks can also be involved in the process. Here at the helpline, another one of our features that we have available would be motivational texting. I encourage motivational texting to those folks that perhaps are seeking something. A lot of folks with the technology, they're into the texting and the online support. So motivational texting provides them with up to 2 texts a week to keep them engaged and motivated during appointment times and during their time in treatment. Another resource that I also, let's see here, GamTalk. I don't know if folks are familiar with GamTalk, but GamTalk is an anonymous online community where folks with gambling issues share their experiences and their ideas. So folks are able to go on to Gam Talk and access, ideas and suggestions there. They can leave comments or take part in discussions on their forums. So I also encourage folks to seek out support online if that's where the call is going. Bridgeway also, there's I get emails periodically letting me know that there's beds available at Bridgeway, and I am always, letting folks know that we do have those services. And when I tell folks that we've got residential treatment for gamblers, people are shocked, surprised. What? There's gambling treatment, gambling rehab is what they call it, So it's just interesting that folks, are shocked that there would be residential gambling treatment, but once I start explaining to them how their brain has pretty much been hijacked, or just try to educate the folks of why residential treatment is available and that the need is there, then folks start realizing that gambling really is a problem. Gamblers Anonymous, we also do encourage Gamblers Anonymous meetings along with treatment. I get a lot of folks who, when I pick up the phone, they ask, I'm calling to know where the next meeting's at. So they're calling to ask about Gamblers Anonymous because they don't realize that gambling treatment is available. So when folks do call in and they're asking about Gamblers Anonymous, then I just steer the conversation towards treatment, and I let them know that Gamblers Anonymous is great, but the real individual one-on-one work is going to be done with a therapist behind closed doors, and we're going to get to what's going on individually with that particular person. So I give them the information that I have available. I tell them what to expect, individual appointments, behind closed doors. Group work is involved also if the providers offer that type of service. I'll invite their family members to also make the call. And it really is, wonderful work that we're doing here, I think. And, I really try to just let folks know that we're here. They're not alone. They're not the only ones that this is happening to. And, we just really want to let folks know that this program really is something that does work. And we get repeat callers all the time. I mean, folks don't just call once and go to treatment. They call once, and a few months they will call back later, and they'll tell me that they didn't make follow through, and we'll get back at it again. So it's a lot of repeat callers also that do follow up. And I also get those calls where folks do call me and they thank us and they let us know that they are in treatment and that they're, being successful. Now, once a person does call the helpline, I tend to stay on the phone with them for about maybe 8-10 minutes per call, if they're willing to talk and whatnot. I myself am a talker too, so I try to just kind of listen and give the information as I can. But it is, we're really here trying to just let them know that we are available. But what I wanted to mention is that once the call has been made to us, I will ask the caller if it is all right for us here at the helpline to follow up with them in a few days to ensure that they were able to talk to someone at the agency, schedule an appointment, and get in. So I will typically follow up with the caller up to 3 times after the initial call is made, if they will allow us to. So what that typically looks like, if someone called the helpline, let's say Saturday at 2 a.m., come Monday morning, I will follow up with that caller and ask, hey, is now a good time to directly connect you to the agency? So my goal is to just, try to connect them. If I don't get an answer when I call back, say Monday morning, I'll continue to try back again maybe Wednesday and then maybe on Thursday again. And hopefully in one of those tries, I'll get someone on the phone and I'll be able to connect them. So it doesn't just stop with them, calling us and hanging up. I ask, can we follow up? And most of the time it's yes. So, we're on these folks. We're calling them and letting them know, hey, we care and we're here. And a lot of the times when they do answer the phone, when I call them throughout the week, a few days later, maybe after the crisis has gone, they do thank us for calling them and for checking in on them. And that really to them shows that we care. So we do our best to follow up and just make sure that folks all around are getting connected to the resources that are available. And a lot of the times these calls are not successful. A lot of times folks just don't like what I have to say. They don't like hearing. They call and they blame me for what's going on, or whoever answers the phone, and they start telling us about how the Oregon lottery does wonderful things, and of course they'll start telling us what horrible experiences they're going through, and that's also hard to listen to. But we let them know that we have help available and to feel free to call back when they're ready. And a lot of times they'll hang up, and a couple weeks later or whatnot, they will call back. And a lot of times they just maybe want to call and vent for a few minutes, and that's okay as well. And after every conversation that I have with folks, I always let them know this helpline is available 24 hours a day. So if at any time you feel that you need some support or you need to talk to someone about what's going on, don't hesitate to call. And a lot of times people, they do call and they say, "Oh, hey, Maggie, I spoke to you the other day." And I'm like, "Oh, hey, what's going on?" And we just start, talking, and I try to gather again what it is that they're going through. And once again, just offer support and letting them know that, hey, we're still here. We're still available.
So great. So thanks, Maggie. And one of the things could you talk a little bit about, like, during the business week, the warm handoffs that you try to engage in with the providers?
Yes, what happens if they do call during business hours, and I can even after hours, I will. If I am sitting in the office, what we'll do is we'll do a three-way direct call. I have telephone numbers here that will connect me to either the Spanish-speaking counselor if they're Spanish speakers, or just to anyone, the contact person. So I'll dial them, and we'll do a three-way, and I'll let the agency know that I've got a gambler on the phone who is interested in seeking outpatient gambling treatment, and pass them along, and they will then be scheduled. So there is always, well, unless it's a voicemail, but typically during business hours, we are able to get someone on the phone and get them scheduled right away.
Okay, so great, Maggie. Thanks. And I want to, we have a question from Deanna Pearl, so I'm going to, Deanna, you've got yourself self-muted. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Good morning.
Good morning, Deanna. So your question about the, your concern about the language of deferring them to treatment, or was that supposed to be refer? I'm sorry.
Well, defer. Well, no, it's defer. My concern was, and I'm pretty sure she goes, "Oh, close stuff doesn't work. You need to go to treatment." I just was that language was kind of hinky for me because everybody connects at a different level. So I want to know that when people ask for different options, there's not an opinion. One's better over the other. They're just options.
Correct. I want to give them all the information that I have available so that they can then make an educated choice. And what I tell them is, I want them to find one of the, whatever they feel that they will be able to actually follow through with. So I let them know what's available and how to access those services. And then, like I said, they can make, they can choose what's going to fit with their particular lifestyle or situation.
So if someone, I think maybe I'm getting where Deanna was going to. So if it was like someone was saying, I'm interested in, you're letting them know about GA as a resource. You wouldn't discourage them from going to GA.
Oh, absolutely not. Correct.
Right.
Yes. If I let them know that GA is available, but we encourage that along with treatment.
Okay.
Okay. Because my ears heard it. That's great, but this is better. And I'm like, oh.
Right.
So, anyway, thank you.
Thanks. So were there other questions that folks have of Maggie, why we still have her here on the line? One of the things, and feel free to, you can unmute yourself and butt in, or go ahead and send a question and I can make sure we get you on there. But one of the things we want to really highly encourage people to do is to visit the helpline website. navigate around in it, take the quizzes. The IM chat box will come up, and I've chatted with Maggie before. Just, hey, I'm just on here looking around or whatever, or if they have time, I've had them also, answer a question for me. So becoming really familiar with the site yourself is great. One thing, Maggie, do you feel that you're getting a lot more chats than you are phone calls at this time? I mean, it's just kind of anecdotal.
Oh yes, I didn't mention that, but I also sit here behind the desk, and people are able to text onto my computer, and also they're able to access our page. So at any given time, I could potentially have someone on the phone, a chat, and a text all going on at the same time. And the chats and the text, I get maybe two or three of those a day. So that is more than what was happening in the past. There people aren't accessing those services as much as we maybe would like to, but yes, it is picking up. And a lot of the times, like I said, the folks that are on the chats and the website tend to be younger folks because of the technology. So I think that that's a way that they are able to access and see what is available. And I do chat with them. A lot of times folks just text in just to check in and say they're having a good day, and okay, well, hey, thanks for checking in, and that's all it takes for some folks. But yeah.
Okay. And I wanted to also just throw out there that you mentioned the crisis respite bed in Josephine County down in Grants Pass. We've also opened a bed now in Baker. And
Yes,
so
Baker.
we have that on the other side of the state as well now. And then also with treatment, we do have treatment in every county. It's just sometimes we might come across, we have some pretty large counties, and our treatment system is small, even though we are in every county. Gear sometimes might be very much an option for some folks who the distance to the treatment provider within their county is extreme, or for other reasons. So yeah, so I'm not seeing any other questions for Maggie. And so I want to thank Maggie for your time, because I know that, we got one that just came in. Can clients be enrolled in a program called the Helpline for Gambling Support After Hours? Oh, so if a client is already enrolled in a treatment program, the question was, can they call the Helpline for Gambling Support After Hours?
We do have folks that do call the helpline after hours, and they are enrolled in treatment. And we do encourage them to use their skills and whatnot, but if they do need to talk to someone, then absolutely they're more than welcome to contact us. If it becomes a reoccurring occurrence, or then we want to maybe talk to the therapist and see where we're at with the treatment plan and whatnot. But we are available 24 hours a day for anyone to call regarding gambling, so definitely, yeah, put that out there.
Great. And also, obviously, programs also have there's also crisis lines within many of the
programs, yes.
Yeah.
GA also, yes, they also have support folks, sponsors, and usually I get a lot of times folks say, I already made several calls, I already called the folks on the list, and no one's answering, so I'm up next, and that's understandable, and we're open to that too. We welcome that, and if folks just need to talk to someone without any judgment, then we're the folks that they call. So absolutely, we are available.
Okay, great. And so I'm sorry, I was moving the screen around on you folks out there that are watching the screen. I was trying to open the website. We had a question on how can you find out what treatment providers are being referred to in the county. And on the website, when you're under the Help for Gamblers tab, I got it to work, but let's see if I can get it to work and move it over to the screen here. But under the Help for Gamblers tab, there is a treatment services tab, and there then list out all the counties where you can then look to see who's the approved problem gambling treatment facility in your county, whether it be Lake or Gillum, Grant, etc. And so, don't want to do that. That might be a mistake. We'll move. Well, let's see what happens. Close current tab. that doesn't mean that there might be other clinicians in your area that are offering treatment for people in gambling, but they may not be a funded program from the Oregon PGS program. So, because many clinicians can address a variety of different things, but we refer to, through our Oregon Problem Gambling Resource helpline project, we're referring people to our funded treatment programs that are funded through the OHA Problem Gambling Services program, although folks are always welcome to seek out other services as well. Do you have anything you want to add to that, Maggie?
A lot of times, folks do call and they are concerned about insurance or whatnot, and I'm able to directly connect them to offer that, comfort, knowing that they are not going to be billed or anything, because a lot of times by the time the folks call us in despair, there isn't any money left. So let's see here. There isn't much more that I can think of right off the top. But if any folks do have questions, do reach out to us. We are available 24 hours a day. You can reach us on our webpage here at the opgr.org. Also, we do the live support, live texting. Feel free to reach out. If you see anything that maybe an address change, a telephone number, you can reach out to us through our website as well at the opgr.org, or you can give us a call here at the 1-877 My Limit helpline, and any of the counselors who answer will definitely be able to help and address any questions you might have.
Great. And so, Maggie, one other thing that came up, I think when you were talking about all the things that you were tracking, is you're not tracking individual demographic information on the callers, correct?
Well, I'm just simply wanting to, well, yes, because we're asking them, date of birth, are they employed, about the caller themselves.
Okay.
So whoever's calling. So if it's a family member calling, then what I'm asking is about the family member, not the gambler. I want to know who's accessing our services, who's requesting help, and that's the information that I'm gathering here on this end.
Okay, so there are demographic information that's out there based on whether it be the gambler or a loved one that you guys are tracking.
Yes, correct.
We could work with Herbert and Lewis in regards to getting, if we wanted to get a feeling for.
Yeah, actually, I do send that information up to Greta on a monthly basis.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Great. All right. And so, let's see. The questions are coming in. The helpline data also shows what agencies are being referred to. That's correct. We do have the helpline data that we do post on a regular basis. And okay, so and just want to thank Maggie again, and we will, if anything else comes up, we'll make sure we connect that out to you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for your time, everyone. And like I said, if you folks have questions, give us a call at 1-877 My Limit. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Maggie.
Okay. Can I hang up?
Yep,
okay.
You can hang up. Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
So I wanted to also clarify, there was a question about subcontracted services. So if your we would have, if your agency, your treatment agency that's receiving the funds from OHA subcontracts out those resources that treatment provider would then still have to meet all of the requirements through OHA and to be a problem gambling services treatment provider, and then would be listed on our resource page as a provider. So an example would be in Multnomah County. Multnomah County receives the funds. They then RFP out their funds. And so they have multiple treatment providers across the county that are then also, that they're approved to, they have to be an approved and licensed facility, treatment facility, through the state of Oregon, and then the county can contract with them for those services, but then that provider then would be listed as a provider. Now, there may be new providers that have been approved that the county has not yet contacted the helpline to let them know that they need to be listed. So there could be some providers that aren't listed yet, but we try to make sure, and the helpline tries to make sure that that data is updated on a regular basis. So I'm going to move forward now unless we have any other questions. And if you do have a question about is this subcontractor in your community an approved problem gambling services treatment facility, go ahead and let me know, and I can definitely look it up, and we'll let you know who's supposed to be doing that and who you should be connecting with in your community as your treatment provider. Okay, boom. So I just wanted to quickly our problem gambling services updates, our Prevention Connect schedule for the rest of this year. In November, we have we have a presentation from David Corse, our new treatment specialist here at Problem Gambling Services, to do the neurobiology of gambling disorder. So he'll be presenting on that in November. In December, we do not have our Problem Gambling Prevention Connect call, as it is the all provider is scheduled in December. And then in January, the date to be determined, we will have a presentation on what does treatment look like. So when you're in treatment, because we really want to make sure you guys have a full grasp of what the resources are. We're not asking you at all to be experts, but just having that general understanding would be great. We've had some requests about maybe shifting the date of this meeting to another date and time because it doesn't seem to be working for a lot of people's schedule. And so we'll be doing a survey out to you soon to try to see what dates are going to work best. I also am bumping up against a conflict for this Thursday call at 10 o'clock, which is the Oregon Healthy Teen, and then now will be our, in the future, looking at the combined survey team. That's the same time they have their call, and so we want to make sure that we're available for that as much as possible. So looking at in January, how can we make some adjustments moving forward to accommodate you guys' schedule as well as ours here at the state. So more to come, but there'll be a survey coming your way. Just want to make sure people have marked their calendars. We talked about this at the regional meeting, but I want to keep this on people's radar that we will be April 10th, we'll have a full day meeting, training on the Community Readiness Assessment Project. So it's required for those providers who are participating in the CRAM project. It's the finale. And then on the 11th, we'll have a full day, which is the Positive Community Framework Toolkit rollout. So we're hopeful that all of you will be there for that. And on April 12th, it's a half day, which we'll have some statewide updates, but we'll also be working on some biennial implementation planning and training so that we can make sure you have all the tools in your hands that you need to get your plan developed and submitted in May. We will be having that at the Inn at Spanish Head in Lincoln City. More information will be available regarding registration, et cetera, by December. And we are very excited about the location, as well as the fact that it's going to be a pretty action-packed conference for us. It will be one of the first times in a while that our problem gambling prevention group has come together and not been integrated into also a treatment training. So this will be all prevention, everything prevention for 2.5 days. So we're excited. Okay, so upcoming webinars and calls we will have for those folks that are part of the Community Readiness Assessment, or if you are looking at doing the assessment next year, and would like to learn more about scoring, you're more than welcome to sign up for this webinar. It's not we're not going to close it to just those folks that are part of the Community Readiness Assessment, but on November 1st from 9 to 11, we will have a scoring webinar where Carissa Dreyer, our consultant, will be walking us through scoring and making sure that folks have the ability to score those interviews. Because it's you have to come together and agree on the score. It's not an average. It's a consensus scoring. And so then also, we'll also put out a follow-up phone call for the following week after that. I'm trying to determine if it's going to be best through a phone call or if we might want to do it through a webinar, just to so that we can see who's on the phone. For those folks who might have questions that have come up since the scoring webinar, to make sure that we have that ability for that consultation for you. Then on November 7th at 9 o'clock, we'll have our positive cultural framework data results and messaging webinar. So we did a survey. Well, Montana State University conducted a survey for us that really looked at a variety of different questions. And so they'll be providing us that information and how that will move forward into our toolkit. So for those of you who can join us, that would be great. Had a question come up. So if you're not participating in the CRAM project, do you need to attend the conference on April 10th? No, you do not have to attend that day, but we're not going to say that you can't, because we want to make sure that those programs that didn't participate and that will be doing their readiness assessment in the future have access to those resources as well. So, okay. And I had mentioned a little bit earlier that there is the all provider webinar is on December 13th from 9 to 10:30. We moved that date forward because the normal date would have been on the 20th, which was kind of bumping right up into the holiday season for you folks, and so wanted to make sure that we weren't limiting participation because folks are off having some great holiday cheer. And then, oh, I'm sorry, that's a fail on my part to cut that out of there. But just in case you tried to go to the September All Provider webinar, we canceled it due to the regional trainings. I forgot to cut that off of this slide. So then future dates you can find the future dates for all of our trainings, etc., on the Oregon PGS website on the All Providers Workforce Development tab. Boom. So we talked about this at the regional meeting, but we are moving forward with our Prevention Advisory Committee, folks. And again, just a plug, if you'd like to be part of the Prevention Advisory Committee, which also is our Workforce Development Committee, please let me know. We're happy to have more voices at the table and to participate. But we are in the process right now of looking at the information that came in from the survey. We shared some of the results with you during the regional meeting, but there were a variety more questions that we did not cover. So we're looking at those results. We're have developed 4 areas, 4 priority areas, and are developing some 11 actions, or not 11, but some action items underneath those areas that will address our workforce development. We plan to have a draft plan done by early November. So that we can then start working on how we integrate our prevention plan into the workforce development plan for treatment, so that we have a system-wide plan. This will be a high-level plan, and then we'll have implementation plans below that plan that we'll be working on after into the next year. And so more to come on that, but we'll have something out for you guys to review and take a look at in November. And it will be a multi-year plan, the plan that we're developing. And so we're pretty excited about this and the opportunities it'll give us so that as we're moving forward with our workforce development activities, that we have a strong plan guiding us along that route. So now we are at this part of the agenda where I check in with folks to see if they have anything they'd like to share. And so I'm going to start at the top of the list here based on what I see. And so Claire from Multnomah County, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Great. So Claire, do you have anything you'd like to share with the group?
I don't have a ton. I think that things were going pretty smoothly. We have our subcontractor VOA who's had some transition in the last couple months with staffing, and so we've got new staff involved, and I'm working with them to set up some trainings around stack deck and other presentations we've done. And then our community readiness assessment, I got to sit in on one of the interviews this past week, which was really great to see and kind of helped me get some more ideas around our overall plan for the next 5 months.
Great, thanks, Claire. How about you, Cynthia in Coos County, who joined us? Sometimes people's audios or they're not able to talk. But anyway, so Cynthia, if you're there, you can shoot us a message if there's something you'd like us to share. How about Darlene from NARA?
Am I unmuted?
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay. Did you want the September and October?
You can share what, if you have something you would like to share about what your program's doing.
Okay.
We're happy to hear it.
Okay, in September, we had a dancing in the square at the Pioneer Square on the 7th. And then also went to a gathering out at Oxbow Park and set up an information booth there. And also attended the Veterans Stand Down at the Memorial Coliseum on the 11th. And I've been doing the Positive Indian Parenting every Wednesday. And OMSI on the 24th with the OMSI Family Night with the Title VI group, the Indian program. And I was so excited I got to go to the 4 directions at the first of the month. And Julie did a good job with her presentation. And then on Saturday, the 6th of October, I attended the Out of the Darkness Walk, the Suicide Prevention Walk. And that was really a powerful thing to attend. And I guess that's pretty much up to date for now.
Great. Well, thank you, Darlene. Thank you. It sounds like you guys have been busy up there. Deanna in Tillamook, do you have something you'd like to share? That's share or obviously it's an opportunity if you have things that you also just want to ask for guidance on, or this is you guys' time.
This is Deanna. No, it's been very interesting getting through this assessment phase. There's a lot of assessments going on in my community. So the person who's been doing doing the assessments, and then I've talked to other people who are head of. It's just been a lot of everybody is talking to everybody.
Yeah.
It's been kind of time. So and big names like public health and Adventist. I mean, some big our Oregon Food Bank. There's big people doing a community assessment. So it's been very interesting.
Well, they all stole the idea from us. No, I'm kidding.
We're good leadership. That's right. So yeah. That's a wait to see what comes out of that. Because then, of course, my program, one of my programs, Northwest Parenting, we also did an assessment. and we just reviewed all the report yet last, and it was so interesting. It was so interesting to see the feedback. It really, really was, and I'm very excited about this one.
Great.
Oh, and yeah, next thing is, so I need a second reviewer. So would that be you? Could I ask you to do it, Roxann, or is someone on the line be willing to review my interviews so they can score them?
So you don't have anybody at your community level that was going to help you read your was
Yeah,
going to score?
I had Stephen in Clatsop County, but Clatsop County, but now he's stepped out of that position.
Oh.
So yeah, so on another level. So now
Right.
I'm assuming it shouldn't be me.
Well, you can be if you have another score. If you can be one of the scorers. Because what you would be doing is you'd only be scoring the information that was in the interview, and
Right.
so it's based on what is in the transcription. So and then your other scorer and you would then come together with your scores and talk about the final score. But we could talk about this a little bit offline. But yeah, it's not it there's no reason why you couldn't be one of the scorers.
Okay. Okay, that's fine, but anyway, that's great. I'm talking to you offline then.
Okay, sounds good. Francie, did you want to share? I mean, I see that you also typed in here that you've had a large increase in engagement between organizations with doing your assessment project, or with other organizations doing the assessment as well. So was there anything else, Francie, you wanted to share? Nope. Okay. And I have heard that a little bit, that it seems like there are a lot of different organizations across the state that started doing assessments, and some of those people definitely may very well be, especially in some of the smaller communities, the same people that you're trying to talk to. But it may be also, beneficial if you haven't already completed your interviews and you're bumping up against that. Ask the individual you might want to be interviewing if they can recommend someone else that they see as also a key leader or a stakeholder, or within their organization that would be worth having. Not worth. I'm sorry. Would be someone also to be interviewed. So this one way to kind of take a look at it. So Heather, are you still with us? Make sure I'm not missing anybody's questions. Okay. So, well, Heather, if you're there, you can type us something or join us. How about you, Judy, in Malheur?
I really don't have anything to share much. We integrate problem gambling information with all of our other services here in Malheur County, or all of our prevention services, and we continue to move forward with that.
Great. Thank you, Judy. How about you, Kelly, in Benton County?
Hi, this is Kelly. Can you hear me?
Sure can.
Yeah, I don't really have any updates, and I've been out of the office too, so I'm coming back with lots of things sitting around to be taken care of. So I think I'll just wait on that right now.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Let's see. How about Kimberly in Jefferson?
I've had fun playing detective, going around to different retailers and just kind of doing some scans to see if they're complying with the requirement to provide information on prevention and information about intervention. And it's really an interesting process because the materials, for the most part, are not prominently displayed. There's one clerk that I asked, aren't you supposed to have some brochures out? And she's like, huh? So we talked about it for a while, and she made a valid attempt to keep the brochures out. But whoever it is that follows her shift tends to stuff them away. So here in Jefferson and in a couple of businesses in Deschutes, it doesn't feel like the message is going to the appropriate staff that prevention and intervention information is supposed to be prominently displayed. But I have had fun playing detective. I've wanted to get a cool hat and some glasses and a little fake mustache and sneak around like Gru but it's been a good process.
Okay. Well, and I think that, one thing I want to say too, Kimberly has shared the addresses where she's seen some of the materials not showing, and so and we have passed those on to the lottery. And so I think that it can be kind of an everyday thing for those organizations. Things get shifted around, etc. But I think that one of the activities we used to do was a reward and reminder type of visit, because we want to catch them doing something right. But there's ways to, I think having those conversations is definitely a great place to go without having to get to that place of becoming the, well, we are not the retailer police, so, and we don't want to get there. But anyway, so, but it sounds like you've had some great conversations at the community level, and I think that's where it has to start, and I think keep at it. So great. How about you, Kimberly, in Clackamas?
Hi, can you hear me?
Sure can.
Okay, great. Sorry. Yeah, so just been working, not too much extra to update on, but of course just working on the community readiness assessment, and then that I took over several months ago chairing one of our prevention coalition meetings, so that's been keeping me busy with that.
Okay, great. And so Michael, I hear you are presenting for Marion County?
Yes, can you hear me?
Sure can.
Okay, yeah, I'm speaking on behalf of myself and Susan. We are getting different people scheduled for the assessment. We're trying to be as comprehensive as we can to get community members, leaders, direct service providers, that kind of thing, in on the assessment. So it's kind of slower than we thought it would be, but we're starting to get people scheduled, which is great. We'll have that done hopefully in the next few weeks. And then we're also gearing up for some school presentations as well. We've updated our outreach materials and also just resources for them, not just about problem gambling, about other things too, but we're going to be sending those out if we haven't already, and then presenting as well in schools when we can. We've been doing some updating internally with our website that will be kind of getting things up and running. That's something that I've been working on because I noticed that a lot of our information is a little out of date. So we've been working on that, and then also just looking into possible connections with either Bridgeway in Salem or VPG recovery as well. So.
Great, thank you. And so Paige from Douglas County has shared that they've been busy working on their community readiness assessment as well. They've had some, bumps in the road a little bit with follow through being difficult when reaching out, but other than that, they're still moving forward. They're focusing on the development and fostering of relationships with their community partners, which is a great piece that happens from this assessment tool, and it really helps to increase awareness in the long run. They've made some connections that will lead to possible future opportunities, problem gambling training. So that's exciting, and that's what they've got going on in Douglas. And then Sean Martinez shared from Josephine County that they're working on their assessment, and that they had their staff, their prevention staff, were at the recovery fair in September in Josephine County, and that she also shared that their community has really loves the calendars that come out for problem gambling. From our problem gambling program, and that they've handed out everything they've gotten in the past they received. So that brings me to letting you guys know that the calendars will arrive in our office on October 23rd. Greta and I will be busily labeling those calendars and getting those into the mail out to you. I think that is it. So just be looking for your calendars to show up by potentially Friday or Monday of the following week. So just a reminder that our next Prevention Connect call is on November 15th, and we'll have a brief presentation on the neurobiology of gambling disorder, kind of getting to that brain chemistry piece for us. And with that, without seeing any other questions from everybody, I want to thank you for all that you do at the community level. I know things are really busy this time of year. School kicked off in September, and there's just all the busyness that comes with that, and all the meetings that start back up, and the work that you are trying to get done, diligently getting done. So anyway, thank you very much, and we will talk with you guys again soon. Take care.
Thanks, Roxann.
Thank you, Roxann.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.